listening to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Welcome to a new episode of The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I am Aviv Manoach.
And I am Omer Kaplan. Hey, long time.
Yes, indeed. We went on an unplayed hiatus, and hopefully it will be over and we're back on a regular schedule. I've actually been playing games that we can talk about.
I don't even know what happened.
Well, you happened. You switched.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
There was Christmas, and you switched jobs and stuff. So it's not like it's good life things. It's not bad life things like last year.
Yes, I can confirm Christmas happened and also job happened. So yes.
Yes.
But
indeed.
yeah.
So in this episode, we're going to do a 2021 recap and talk about what gaming were like and was like, whatever. My English is bad today. In 2021, and we'll talk about what we expected and what we are expecting next year and stuff like that. Obviously, before that, we are The Burn, a podcast about gaming. You can find all episodes in theburn.live. Last year, we said that this year will be good about scheduling and actually do all of the episodes. We did more than previous year. We didn't manage to do every one of them. What?
We did about 30, something like that.
I think this is the 30th of this. No, we can never reach 30. We do one every 2 weeks, and a year is 52. So we should do 26. Okay. I think we did 22 or something like that. I'll check in a bit. So let me open my folder. We did. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is the 20th episode of this year, which is season 2, and then we did only 14. Well, it wasn't. We started in 2019, and then the 14th is together with 2020 because we started late in 2019. So we are on the right track. It's fine. It's fine.
We started in 2019. That's crazy.
Yeah, we started. I think October, November, something like that, or a bit. I started working in Stream Elements, and then I came to you and said, "Omer, I want to do content in English."
And you said, "Yes, that sounds wonderful." All right, so we have so much stuff to talk about. Let's go.
If you listen to our earlier episode and now you can see the improvement in my English as well, so it's nice. So yeah, let's start by talking about what we expected and for this year. Every recap we say what we are expecting, and then we re-examine our expectations, which are usually wrong. So what was on your list?
So I vividly remember sitting down at the end of last year and saying, this year I only care about 2 games. I only care about Baldur's Gate 3, which is still in early access, which I didn't get yet. And then I want Diablo 4 and I want Lost Ark. And none of them happened. And I also said to myself, I'm not going to get any new games until I look at my Steam library and I go through games I already own and didn't touch, and Epic Games give you free games, so I'm going to go through my library and then going to buy new games. That was also a big fat lie. Because
Lost Ark got like a beta stress testing. So
yeah, I played it and I kind of regret playing it because the performance wasn't great, but I know it will be good. So I expected to be, looking into my Steam library and finish them. Didn't do that. Wanted Baldur's Gate out. Didn't happen. Wanted to play Lost Ark. Kind of regret doing it, but I'm still on the cloud gaming train. I actually abandoned Stadia for the new GeForce Now 3.
Interesting.
Listen, this is I'm living in the future. This is getting my MacBook Pro to run any game almost in my Steam library on ultra settings with no lag is a treat. So that at least that is still consistent from last year. I'm still a big advocate for cloud gaming.
Good, great. It means that you bring content that no one else has.
Exactly. We're like the gaming done blazing fast plus cloud gaming podcast. So we get a good niche out of it. Yeah. What about you? I don't remember what you had last year.
So I wrote the following. I wrote Vampire the Masquerade 2, Bloodlines 2, Hitman 3, and Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. 2 of those didn't come out this year. Bloodlines 2 is in development hell. For all intents and purposes, it's not going to come out ever. So that's a shame. Sands of Time remake, I don't know what's the status. I actually only found out it's existed when I was looking for games that are going to come out. So maybe it's going to come out, maybe it's not. I want it to come out, and I want to play it like on the PS5 because it's a perfect console game. So maybe this year. And then Hitman 3 did come out, and it's one of my favorite games of the year. So we are going to talk about that later. Interestingly enough, in the 2019 recap, I put as expectation Watch Dogs Legions for 2020, which I didn't play in 2020, and I'm only playing it now. So I'm fulfilling expectations for like 2 years ago.
Nice. Yeah, I finished it 2 weeks ago, and I kind of miss it. We should make an episode on it.
Yeah, next episode is going to be Watch Dogs, because both of us playing it. I talked about it in the Hebrew podcast like 2 weeks ago, and I have a lot to say about its development and then what the effect of COVID had on it. But this is not this. This is not this episode.
Can you give me a spoiler and like tell me if you're having fun?
I am having fun. I have comments on how they got screwed by the current political climate versus their expectations while developing it.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's talk about our favorite games of this year. And I had to remind you that when we did the episode about Celesta, you announced that this is going to be your game of the year.
Yes. Oh my god, this is such a good game, and I made a huge mistake for omitting it out of the list, which is this is such a recency bias, but I had So let me give you my three of the most enjoyable games I played this year, and then give you a one-liner on each, and then we can talk about Celesta. So number 3, we're gonna do a 3-2-1. So Number 3 is Inscription. I don't like horror games. I like this.
It's a horror game?
It has some horror elements in it. So it's the thing. Like the more I talk about this game, the more there's an option I'll spoil something to you.
I heard so many mixed things about this game. Some people really like it, and then some people say they are disappointed by it.
The weirdest and most special game I played. I didn't play anything like it. I can't put it even on a genre almost. It's kind of like, it's weird. It's kind of like Super Hot, the first one. When you get to the end, then you get to have opinion on it. It's something yet it's like surprising and weird and special, and I didn't have any quite of that experience in a long time. So I'm putting it out there, and it's another Devolver game, which I'm getting to the status of like I'm just gonna get any game that they pull out like sight unseen. It's just so good. And then all right, so that's 3. 2 is Chivalry 2. Chivalry 2 is. So I'm bad at like Battlefield. I'm bad at like all these like huge battleground team objective kind of games. Chivalry 2 is the most fun, chaotic, positive community. It's as chaotic as you'd expect from a medieval like thing. The maps are. So I played the first one too. The maps are really well structured. It's like 32 versus 32. Everybody's, doing their thing. The atmosphere is great. Soundtrack is great. They added so much to the game, and their roadmap is actually pretty good. So, Chivalry 2, probably the most fun, chaotic game I played. And then I'm gonna give number 1 to Celesta. That's the most, having not been able to play Dungeons and Dragons in real life. That's the closest thing I'll get, even though the writing isn't perfect and the story is kind of cheesy. But it's cheesy in like the good way you'd expect from a Dungeons and Dragons adventure, and the rule set, and they got a DLC this year, which is also very fun. I'm gonna have to give it number 1. The only regret is that they haven't onboarded it into cloud gaming, but that's gonna be a thing, I'm pretty sure. And that's gonna be great because I can run it on ultra settings.
Nice.
Two honorable mentions I want to make. One is Pokemon Unite on Switch,
which I also played.
I played a lot of that game. It's really innovative, twist on MOBAs. It's super cool, super fun. It's the only Switch game I'll mention this year. I played a whole bunch of Switch games, but nothing really came out, I think.
Yeah, nothing new beside that. We also did, worth mentioning, we did an episode on Celesta and on Pokemon Unite. So yes. If you want expanded opinions on both of those games, we have them.
Yeah, and I'll have a Chivalry 2 episodes for sure. And then, the last honorable mention is Loop Hero. Which also did an episode? I think we did. I think we did, but maybe a long time ago. But it's also like one of the. I literally played it so much. I played it so much. I literally fell asleep while playing it, and there's no regrets. And it happened more than once, but that's maybe the kid's fault. And then the last thing is the game that I played a whole bunch and didn't come out in 2021 is Stellaris, which I had to delete because it's too good. It's one of those games that they're just too good. I don't know what they just put a special powder in this game that just makes me think about it at night and then make plans and role play, and this game is just too good, and it's just special. Maybe we'll do an episode about.
We should do. Well, you should write down the games you played over the last 4 months that we didn't do an episode on, and we should.
It's that and Crusader Kings 3 that maybe we can bundle together because that's kind of
you actually fell into the Paradox rabbit hole.
Yeah, I listen. Okay, well, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say. Let's move on to your games. It's something that ties in my new job with Paradox games.
Nice. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so for me, I will say in general that the last 2 years I haven't played as much games as before. Mainly, I think because of the combination of having the job at Stream Elements and then studying in the master's program really takes my time. I usually only play on weekends, and then I played a lot on consoles, and that's usually all the big hits games. So among the things I did play this year, we'll start with Hitman, which is, I think it's also it's not. I don't like using the game of the year things. That's why I use the favorite game of the year or the most valuable game of the year or stuff like that. That goes back to when I did game awards almost a decade ago by now. Wow, time flies. So yes. Hitman 3 is definitely my game, my favorite game of the year, most valuable game. It came out in January. I played, as we discussed previously in the podcast, all of the Hitman, all of the recent, the rebooted Hitman game, World of Assassination trilogy, as they call it. I really like the Hitman 3. Is just it's improved on everything while keeping with the same mechanics and streamline of the series. It has gorgeous graphics. And the two previous installments, it takes the old content and bring it into the new engine. And I really like about how IO does that. They also went out of their way to like allow you to connect your Steam account into your IO account in order to check your license for the previous game, so you can have it on Epic. So now I have on Epic Games all of those games inside of Hitman 3. It is such a good game that I'm considering buying all of it again for PlayStation 5. Now, I would say that in order to buy all of the trilogy on a new system, you need to buy 3, and then you need to buy Hitman 1 Game of the Year Edition, and then you need to buy Hitman 2 Gold Edition to have access to everything, which is kind of expensive. They do have sales on it from time to time, and they did give Hitman 2 for free on PS Plus. So at one point I'll get to it. It's such a classic controller console game to play. So anyway, Hitman 3 definitely my most favorite game of this year. So the next one is Persona 5 Strikers. I think we discussed in the podcast. I don't remember.
I think we had an episode on that even.
We did. I don't remember if. Oh yeah, we did. We did have an episode.
Because I almost got it after.
Yeah. So it's not an amazing game by any stretch. It's a good, solid game. Very enjoyable for fans of Persona, obviously. And I imagine that if you bump the difficulty up, you will also enjoy the battle system. I didn't. I just played on easy and I just went through the combat. It wasn't for me. But the whole atmosphere and the continuation of the story and all the characters, I loved it. So I'm a big Persona 5 fanboy, so obviously I love Persona 5 Strikers. But if I look at it objectively as a game, if you are not coming from Persona 5, the regular or Royale, you probably like it wouldn't be your favorite game. It will be a solid game. It's not a bad game. It's a good game. It's a solid installment. So those two games are like in the new games that came out this year. A few others worth mentioning in the remake / expansion slot. We have Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Obviously, Ghost of Tsushima originally didn't come out 2021, but the Director's Cut did come out for the PS5 with the expansion. And we talked about that. It's a masterpiece. We know that it's such a cinematic, amazing game to play. However, the expansion specifically is not. And I think my comment about that was that if you play the game, if you play the Director's Cut, you should play the expansion before finishing the main game. Otherwise, the expansion is not worth it. If you finish Ghost of Tsushima, going back to the expansion is just you go into a climax and then you just fall down into normal open world, not that great content. So the base game, amazing. The expansion, mediocre. On the early access game front that did came out this year, so obviously the early access is this year. The game is not fully released yet. It's Dyson Sphere Program. It's a game around the vein of Factorio. We call it like a production line game. I love it. Very good game. Enjoyed it a lot. Didn't really get to the end of the content for the early access. Probably will return it in the future. But very solid game, very enjoyable. Love the sci-fi aesthetic of it. Love the fact that you can build things all around the planet, and you have like a planetary view, and you can then fly to other planets. Really good. And then my honorable mention is for No Man's Sky because of the updates.
Yes.
This year, No Man's Sky got a few very good updates. The expedition updates. That everybody loves. I didn't play any expeditions yet. I'm just saying it because I know that's the highlight for most people that play No Man's Sky this year. They also came out with the Prism update that enhanced the graphics and and everything, especially for next gen consoles. So in the category of we keep update this game, and the content keeps getting very good, is No Man's Sky.
Yes. That game, I think I really hope that it makes to our list like every year. This game is just so developed and so good, and all the updates are free, which is drive me insane. Like, how well are they selling this game so we can keep enjoying that content for free? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It makes to the top bestseller list like every year. That's awesome. That's like super great.
Mm-hmm. You know something? If we mention a game in the end of the recap and we haven't done an episode of it on it, something went wrong.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, but a lot of I already told you that a lot of my games are like impacted by recency bias. So
yes.
I think we and we haven't recorded in like a while, so I owe some episodes about my greatest games. But yes.
Yeah, what I do at the end of the year is make a list. I go back to all of the podcasts, and I make the podcast, and then I also look at my PlayStation game list and all sorts of those things, and I make a list of everything I've played, and then I rank them, and I also compare and how many games I played every year and for each console.
I played way too many games that I planned that are not in my Steam library, but zero regret.
Good. So let's do expectation for 2022. What are your thoughts?
Putting me on the spot again. All right. All I want for 2022 is for Baldur's Gate to come out. You know, I want to say Diablo 4. And I'm going to say Diablo 4 because I'm a fan of the series, but
you will hold to our boycott of Blizzard.
I'm not boycotting. I'm just sad at this point. You know, I'm definitely not going to get Diablo 4 day one, guaranteed. But hopefully I'll have Lost Ark to comfort me. I think it's coming out next month too. So
yeah, that's everyone that's what everyone says. Like Lost Ark is going to pull all the Diablo Blizzard disappointers.
Yeah, I don't want to be all doomy and gloomy on our first episode of the year, but when Diablo 4 comes out, I really hope it's delayed enough so it's at least gained some distance from all the crap that's happening. Both from a PR perspective, but mostly from a development standpoint. Like, get people comfortable enough so they can polish the game without all the stuff that's going on. So hopefully it will be this year, but I'm totally fine with having the next year. Yeah. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, this thing needs to come out right now, and then Lost Ark, and then whatever. I don't know. I'm open to new experiences. Hopefully, not too many games. We actually briefly discussed getting my first modern Pokemon game before the show, so maybe that'll be a thing. We'll see. I'm keeping it open.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
I write those expectations just for the recap shows. I actually don't expect anything. Like, I wait for games to come out. I see if they look good, if they get good feedback from the crowd, like on Twitch and YouTube and stuff, and then I either play them or not. So those expectations are on the level of some game is going to come out sometime, maybe, I don't know. So the legacy, the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection is the remastered version for the PS5 of Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. Obviously, I don't need more information for those unless they come out broken, but I don't think Naughty Dog will release anything broken. They haven't in the past, so let's hope they don't screw this up. But this is an excuse to just play Uncharted 4 again with a better console and everything. I'm just playing Spider-Man Remastered on the PS5, and I really like what they do when they remaster those games. Like the whole DualSense micro vibration and dynamic, not dynamic. How do you call the trigger thing? I forgot.
Like
adaptive triggers.
Adaptive.
Yeah, so the whole dual sense thing is really good. To tell the truth, I think it's the highlight of the console. So yeah, I'm really expecting Uncharted 4 remastered. So that's one thing. Elden Ring is another. I'm not going to play this game because I'm not playing from games, but I will watch it a lot as I did all of the other games. I watched Sekiro multiple times, as well as Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 and 2. Dark Souls 1 I only watched once, remaster, not when originally came out. So I expect to enjoy watching this game a lot because all of the From games are very good. They're just not for me to play.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll just suck at it. I just know, but it looks amazing.
Yeah. And then, first of all, Tiny Tina's Wonder Worlds, the spin-off sequel to Borderlands, or rather to Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep, the D&D adventure inside of Borderlands 2. I expect, well, I hope for a good game. I loved Borderlands 3, although some people didn't. They thought it's not comparable to 2, but I really liked it, and I'm expecting for this thing to come out and see how it goes. And then finally, Babylon's Fall. It's on my list of expected games for like 3 years now. It's a platinum game. If you remember from previous episode of me convincing Omer to play Vanquish, this is another.
Which I did.
What?
Which I did play.
Yes, which you did, and we had an episode, and we love platinum games. So Babylon's Fall is supposed to like bring platinum style combat system into a gothic fantasy world, and I'm really expecting it.
Okay, right, yeah. So put me on that list as well. I'm gonna put one more tiny thing on my list before we close. I'm gonna put the DLC for Cyberpunk. So if I can't have Cyberpunk on the list for this year, hopefully the DLC will be nice because I'm hopeful for this game. I had fun completing it when everybody else complained. I'm probably gonna have fun playing a DLC. So we'll see.
I'll tell you what, I'm very close to breaking my boycott of this game once they released content expansion for it. I think they suffered enough.
Yeah, and I listen. It's not whatever they promised it to be.
I didn't boycott it because of what they promised or whatever. I don't care about video game companies promising things. Look at No Man's Sky. I liked No Man's Sky when it came out. The fact that they improved a lot about it since is great, and I love it. But I don't care about promises or the conceived promises of the gaming crowd. So that's not what matters to me. The problem with Cyberpunk is the practices by the company. They have a history of transphobia comments. They have a history of very bad labor practices, and all through the year and a half before Cyberpunk was released, they were not the good people in that story. So that's what stood behind my boycott. And you know, since it came out, there haven't been any new controversies. Hopefully, like they are better now. I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive. And maybe Activision Blizzard just put everything in a new perspective, because you're not as bad until you get multiple lawsuits by government.
Exactly. So yeah, well, maybe they're not. Maybe they haven't improved. They just got better at hiding it.
I hope not. It will be really unfortunate if that's the case.
But like all in all, I think it's a solid game. The DLC maybe will make it a little bit better. It's a fun experience to be had. I sense that, and we can talk about it next episode. I think Watch Dogs Legions had the potential to be a better Cyberpunk game than Cyberpunk is, but we'll talk about it next.
Maybe, yeah. Let's talk about it next episode. Okay, we're basically done. This has been our recap. How, in a final word, how do you summarize the last year in gaming for you?
Putting me on the spot. It's not even in the show notes. The last year in gaming was, I think, very diverse. I played a lot of genres, lots of games, lots of things I didn't expect. So I'm going, like you, to keep it open towards next year and just get everything that's coming at me, and not expect too much. Because I think we've done a good job at not managing our expectations. How about you? How was your last year in one sentence?
Yeah, I think that 2021 was had less wow moments compared to 2019 and 2020. I remember in our recaps of previous year how we were really surprised how good those years were for the gaming communities. And 2021 was all right. Nothing major came out. It was a year of. I think it's not only gaming. I think it's in general. With everything that's happening in the US around employments and stuff. I think that reflected on gaming as well. Lots of labor disputes. The Activision Blizzard lawsuit, as we discussed. So there weren't very big gaming moments this year, but all in all, I enjoyed it. I dug further into my console lifestyle than before, although I did play Far Cry 6 on the PC for many hours. But yeah, that's what I think about this year.
All right, cool. All right, let's wrap it up.
That's all we have on the show today. Thank you for listening. You can find us online on Twitter. I'm at Icel, and Omer is at Omer Kaplan. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment, and leave your reviews on your preferred listening apps. You can find all the episodes at theburn.live. And of course, our opening theme was created by Ann Durko with vocals by Fishy Twitch, both on Twitter as well. Thank you. And we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.